What's going on? Billy here from Storm Trades with another trade recap. We're going to run through the NQ long trade I took on Friday, July 25th during the New York AM trading session. I had a bearish daily bias on this day, and originally I had a bearish hourly market structure narrative. That was my pre-930 read on NQ. However, after 930 manipulated the London lows, we closed strong back into the range, creating a change in the state of delivery on the hourly chart. We also inverted a hourly bearish fair value gap. So I made an adjustment, was able to catch a long for a small win. Let's get right after it. All right, starting off on the daily chart. I'm going to set up my daily chart the same way every day, trying to make it as simple and repeatable as a process as possible. All right, so first things first, I would mark out the previous daily low and the previous daily high, and this actually it's also a swing high. So the previous daily high also happened to be sweeping a swing high. Right? They were like exactly the same price, just to keep in mind, right? So we short after sweeping swing highs, and we short inside of bearish daily fair value gaps. So that should already give you an indication of where I'm starting to look. Now, I just want to make a note here that we also had a liquidity rate of the previous day, right? So when we're looking at candle structure, and we're understanding per like a T trades where we can't reverse without a swing point. Well, this was the previous daily all-time high. We made another all-time high yesterday, but we closed back down into the range. So when that happens, we would typically expect price to start moving lower. However, in the morning and overnight during Asia, we actually swept and created a new all-time high, then closed back into the range. So to me, this was an indication that that we're moving back down, at least for a little retracement. So I was actually bearish on the daily chart. And I also run a fib from the previous daily candle just to sort of see where we are closing. This comes into play when we're looking at continuations and also reversals. So if we have a reversal, we would want to see the wick form in the upper quadrant here and a displacement down. But regardless, I was bearish on the daily. Now, when I'm bearish on the daily, I don't have to find a bearish trade. Okay, I'm expecting price for there to be a narrative, bearish narrative on the hourly time frame, which is where I do the vast majority of my analysis. And in fact, there was. Early in the morning when I do my analysis, about 7:30 New York Standard Time, and there was a clear bearish narrative playing out. However, I don't start trading in Q until after 9:30, and at 9:30 we just dumped, and then we had a strong move back up into the range, and it was so strong, in fact, that I ended up switching my market structure narrative to bullish. All right, I'll show you what I mean. I just pulled up the hourly chart here. Now, first, let me show you how I was looking prior to this 9 o'clock candle closing, right? So we had a sweep of the swing high, previous daily highs, liquidity raid the day before. I expect the price to come down. We had a fair value gap here. This would have been the change in state of delivery right here. Okay, change in state of delivery and looking for lower prices, which we started to get until this 9:30 manipulation. Okay, let me take this off of here. Until this 9:30 manipulation and close above this down close candle. So I'm always looking for the most recent change in the state of delivery in order to help me get on sides with the most current narrative. Okay, so we had a bearish fair value gap here, but we have after the 9 o'clock candle close here, right? So after the 9:30 open, we manipulated. Okay, what did we manipulate? We had a liquidity raid here and manipulated a London low, and we came up and we closed above this down close candle, right? So on the hourly, this was a change in state of delivery. Okay, so had an initial bearish narrative in my, in my playbook. But once we took a significant swing low, in this case, it happened to be the London low, okay, we had a strong move back into the range, inverting this bearish fair value gap and closing over this down close candle, creating a change in state of delivery. I am now looking for prices to go higher. Now, as you know, I like to use the 1/3 ADR as an understanding of reversal points and also potential draws on liquidity. Well, look at this. We've swept and maintained support at the 1/3 ADR, okay? And then we've moved back into the range, and we've got a long way to go to reach the 1/3 ADR up here. So just, very interesting. This is how I read price. Right? I'm constantly taking the new information and trying to apply it to the charts, and does it make sense? Well, it makes sense now. This is a very bullish move. It makes sense for me to at least watch for potential longs. And in fact, I watched for a while and did not get involved in the very first one that I possibly could have. I waited a little bit to get on sides with a continuation. Now, since we've already swept a swing low on the hourly, that's my green light to start looking for trades in the opposite direction. Okay, same thing would have been if we would have swept into an hourly fair value gap. So swing lows and fair value gaps are my POIs that I need some sort of engagement with prior to moving to the M5 time frame. Now I'm going to move down to the M5. And as you can see, we had this manipulation down after the 9:30 open, take out the swing low. Okay, we have a liquidity rate here, right? So if you're looking at T-Trades and how he does the C2, C2, 3, C4, right? So if we have a C2 sweep and a strong close in, we would expect C3 and C4 to continue continue higher with perhaps the displacement or just distribution. So this is our liquidity rate on the M5 time frame. I want to make note here that this is the change in state of delivery. Now, I'm still cautious here because, again, I was originally bearish on the day, and I just watched this unfold and wanted to make sure that, in fact, we were starting to move higher. I felt like we had a decent amount of room to go up to this 1/3, so I could basically be patient and start targeting this Asia high if we don't take it right away. Right, so just running whenever we have a clear swing point prior to the move that takes liquidity, I can run a fib and just sort of see what's what up above. So -2, -2.5, slightly below the 1/3 ADR, but the Asia, right? The Asia high is right at the -1.5 standard deviation. So to me, that's some low-hanging fruit. If we are going to continue higher here, I'd like some structure to form and see if I can get involved with some sort of a continuation. All right. Okay. So I'm just going to put right up here within the -1, -2, -2.5. This is where I expect price to be able to draw to. Right, since we have a lot of room up until 1/3 ADR. Okay, that just tells me we've got a lot of room to go, and I really like the Asia high up here. Right, so just want to make note here. Right, so we had a breaker block here and a M5 fair value gap. So this was in fact a unicorn. Okay, so swept the swing low, swing high, lower low, displacement through. That's a breaker with a fair value gap in the middle. That's a unicorn. It's a really significant signature in price, indicating a reversal. I just want to mark out here the Asia high. This is my target. Okay, and I'm looking for a way to get involved with that. But at this point, I'm still not completely convinced. Okay, and I want to see price continue higher. And I'll just kind of let price go forward here. And I'm looking for down close candles to quickly get bought up and closed through. Okay, that's an indication of strong price action. All right, so here's a series of down close candles. And let me move price forward here. All right, and these series of down close candles took some liquidity right here. Right, so I want to see a strong close above that. and get that right there. However, I still didn't get involved. Okay, I waited for one more move lower, which we got right here. Okay, that's a sweep, and we've got another order block here. So I felt like we've down manipulation moves quickly bought up. Okay, down close candles are being closed through with displacement. I'm now looking for a move from right here, okay, up to the Asia high. Actually, I went for 1.5R. Now, I could have gone all the way up here to 3R. I'm trading Apex funded accounts. I just want to get a quick win. I'm not looking for any sort of drawdown here. So I'm going to put in a buy order here, stop at the candle open here, take profit at 1.5R. All right, just looking for just a little piece of this action all the way up to the Asia high, knowing that we should have the ability to go higher. Okay, so I'm going to move price forward here, and boom, there we go. Now let's see where price ends up going. All right, so we ended up tapping into the -2, -2.5. It all made sense. We had a lot more room to go. Obviously, I would have loved to have been in down here. A lot of guys in the Discord, in the Unicorn University Discord did get in on this unicorn. Okay, I did not. I waited for more structure and understood that we still had the Asia high and a lot of room to go up into this area up here. So anyway, I hope you guys had a great one. If you got anything out of this at all, or just enjoy following along, like, subscribe, comment. I really appreciate all the support. You guys have a good one.